There's a growing realization in neuroscience that what happens in the muscles might not stay in the muscles, especially when it comes to neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's. While Parkinson's disease is traditionally viewed through the lens of dopamine loss and central nervous system damage, a newer line of inquiry has started to examine how glucose metabolism, particularly the storage of glucose in the form of glycogen within skeletal muscle, may influence the onset and progression of this debilitating disorder. What we're starting to uncover is a metabolic dialogue between the muscles and the brain, and disruptions in this energetic harmony could be playing a deeper role in neurodegeneration than we previously assumed. Glucose is the brain's preferred source of energy, but it's also vital for muscle function. Muscles, especially during physical activity, rely heavily on their internal glycogen stores for energy. However, muscles are not just energy consumers. They may also be energy communicators. There is increasing evidence suggesting that muscle tissue can signal to the brain through myokines, metabolic substrates, and possibly even patterns of glucose availability. When muscles are metabolically dysfunctional, as in the case of insulin resistance or impaired glycogen storage, this could trigger a cascade of changes that compromise brain health. In Parkinson's disease, one of the most visible symptoms is the progressive loss of motor control, rooted in the death of dopamine-producing neurons in the substantia nigra. While much of the research has focused on what's happening inside the brain, a systemic perspective suggests that energy failure at the muscular level may be influencing how well these neurons survive or how susceptible they are to damage. Muscles that fail to store or release glucose effectively might not only reduce overall physical function, which is key to maintaining brain plasticity and neurovascular integrity, but they might also disrupt the availability of key metabolites that the brain relies on during stress. This becomes even more compelling when we look at how Parkinson's patients often exhibit changes in glucose metabolism long before diagnosis. Some show reduced insulin sensitivity or abnormal blood sugar regulation. These metabolic shifts are not merely side effects. They might be early warning signs of deeper systemic vulnerabilities that include the brain's energy systems. Poor glycogen management in muscles could, therefore, be part of a silent chain reaction. Diminished muscle metabolism leads to less physical activity, which further reduces brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, levels, weakens synaptic function, and accelerates neurodegeneration. There is a cautionary tale here. Modern lifestyles, often characterized by sedentary behavior and poor metabolic health, may be setting the stage for earlier or more aggressive onset of neurological disorders. When muscles are underused, they lose their ability to efficiently cycle glucose. Over time, this may not only lead to type 2 diabetes, but could quietly diminish the neuroprotective support that physical fitness and muscle glycogen regulation provides the brain. The warning is clear. Our muscles aren't passive players in brain health. If we let them weaken, we may also be weakening our brain's defenses against diseases like Parkinson's. But here's the hopeful side. This opens the door to proactive intervention. Exercise is one of the few known tools that improves both muscular glycogen dynamics and neuroplasticity. Regular aerobic and resistance training enhances glucose uptake in muscles, increases insulin sensitivity, and improves mitochondrial function in both muscles and neurons. These changes don't just preserve motor function, they may also help slow or even prevent the neuronal decay characteristic of Parkinson's. Emerging research into muscle-brain crosstalk also suggests the possibility of new biomarkers. If we can measure how effectively muscles store and utilize glycogen, we might be able to predict neurological risk earlier and more accurately. Moreover, therapies that target metabolic improvement, whether through diet, pharmaceuticals, or structured exercise programs, could complement or even enhance current Parkinson's treatments. Ultimately, the intersection between glucose storage in muscles and Parkinson's progression is a reminder of how deeply interconnected our systems are. The body and brain are not isolated islands. They are part of a metabolic continuum. When one area falters, others feel the impact. Recognizing and strengthening these connections may not only help us treat Parkinson's more effectively, it might help us prevent it altogether.